Hey guys, welcome to Big W Barbecue. My name is Nate. Today we're going to be smoking up a Swinapple. Thanks a lot for checking out this video. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, a special welcome to you. Here on this channel you will find recipes as well as tips and tricks that will hopefully help your time out of the grill go just a little bit smoother. So like I mentioned, what we're going to be doing today is what's called a Swinapple. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically going to be a combination of pork and pineapple. I know there's some people out there that are strong believers in pineapple should not be cooked. However, for me personally, I can eat pineapple cooked or uncooked. Either way, it's always very good. I don't want to scare you guys off from trying this recipe, but I just want to give you a fair warning that this takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience. However, all this work is definitely going to be worth it and will make it taste just a little bit better. One of the first decisions that you're going to have to make when you're cooking this recipe is what type of pork are you going to use. You can use ham, you can use pulled pork, you can use loin. In this particular case, I'm going to be using some of the country style ribs that we cooked in the last video for this recipe as well. Now the second decision you're going to have to make is which pineapple to pick. So typically here in the United States, the best window here is going to be from March to July on getting a nice ripe pineapple. One of the tough things about picking out pineapple is that you can't tell how ripe or juicy it is from the outside. There's a couple things that you can look for that will help your odds on picking out that perfect pineapple. And one of them is you're going to want one that's got kind of a nice yellow tint. Here on the pineapple that I have is a little bit more green than what I would typically want. However, sometimes you can't be real picky, you just got to use whatever your grocery store has. The other thing that I've read that you can do is you can put your nose up to the bottom of these pineapples and it should be a very fruitful smell. However, if you're at the grocery store and you're smelling a lot of pineapple, I don't know how that looks to everyone else, so it's totally up to you, but another option nonetheless. So right now I've got my country style ribs out on the smoker cooking. Now this can be handled two different ways. You can either put the raw meat right into the pineapple, or you can cook it before and then put the somewhat cooked meat into the pineapple. Now the reason why I'm going to go with the latter is because of just because I don't want the pineapple to have to sit out on the smoker, for 3-4 hours. By letting it cook a little bit outside on the smoker before stuffing the pineapple, it kind of helps ensure that we get up to the proper temperatures for food safety wise. So while those are cooking, let's go ahead and start preparing this pineapple. So the first step what we're going to do is we're going to want to go ahead and cut off this top here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come down 1.5 inches or so, and I'm just going to go ahead and take that top right off. Just going to go ahead and put this off to the side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and carefully remove the skin of the pineapple. So ultimately, something to just keep in mind before you start cutting them. What we're going to do is we're going to end up kind of hollowing out this center part here for the meat to sit in. But first, let's go ahead and remove the skin from the pineapple. Alright, so now this is where the tricky part comes in. We're going to go ahead and try and remove these eyes the best that we can. You definitely don't want to leave these in here because they're kind of hard, and it's going to kind of give that a bad representation for the finished product. So there's a few different ways that you can remove these. You can go ahead and use a sharp knife and kind of dig them out. What I'm going to be doing here today is I've got a potato peeler, and on some potato peelers they've kind of got this nice little pointed end here to kind of dig out bad spots in potatoes. This also is rather handy for a recipe like this. Another kind of cool way you can do it is if you're using a knife, you can kind of start cutting these out. And the way that they're positioned, you can kind of make a spiral on it, which kind of gives it a kind of a neat look. However, it does take a little bit of time and patience as well. So whatever you think works best. Again, don't spend too much time on this, but just give it your best shot. All right, now that we've got all those eyes out of the pineapple here, you can tell I didn't get everything perfectly, but I tried to get as much as possible. So now the next step is we're gonna wanna go ahead and remove the core of this pineapple. Now, if you've got, they do sell these devices that help remove cores from pineapple specifically. If you have one of those, that will save a lot of time. It'll be very easy. I personally don't have one, so I'm gonna try and just use a knife and spoon and try to get that out the best as I can. Now, another alternative, if you don't want to like scoop this out and make it almost like a cup, you can just go ahead and cut the bottom, and then you don't have to worry about so much. It makes it a little bit easier, I guess, to remove the whole core, because you can slice all the way down to the bottom. So let's go ahead and try our best at this. What you're gonna do is you're gonna want to come in, probably ½ inch or an inch so, and you're just gonna want to go ahead and kind of go around the perimeter of this pineapple. Then once you kind of have the outline of your perimeter there, go ahead and stick that knife almost all the way down. Again, in my circumstance here, I am not going to want to pierce all the way through the bottom, but I want to get down there quite a ways. This is kind of where that core comes in handy there. This would be able just to pop right out, but since we can't do that with this, I'm going to go ahead and cut this into a 1/4, and hopefully that'll help with the removal. I'm gonna go ahead and try and save some of this juice here to add it back in. Alrighty, I think that's pretty good there. So what I used was a combination of a fork, a spoon, and a steak knife there. Basically what I was kind of doing is just trying to hollow that out as best as I could. So the other alternative that I just mentioned was you can almost create like a sleeve, right, where you would cut all the way through there, so you would come out the bottom, which is then you would have that sleeve effect around the meat. However, I didn't want to do that because I kind of want to keep that like almost like a cup there, so I can pour some of this pineapple juice back in there. Got to keep things nice, tight, and get that little steaming effect going on inside. But you can go either way and it'll still turn out great. So now what we're going to do is, here in a second, I'm going to go out to the grill. I'm going to grab my country style ribs, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up filling this up pretty well. I'm going to try and get as much as I can in there. Now depending on the shape of the ribs, you may have to cut it a little bit or kind of form it, and because you want to get a pretty tight fit in there. Then once we got that in there, then we're going to go ahead and put some bacon around the outside, and that's just going to top this thing off, right? It's going to help protect the outer shell while it's out on the smoker, as well as bacon just enhances everything. So let's go ahead and grab those ribs off the grill and bring them back inside. If you're curious on how I cooked up this country style rib, I'll go ahead and link up the video down below in the description. Instead of going through the full cook, I went ahead and removed this at about 150 degrees. I'd recommend anywhere from 150 to 160. And what that's going to do, like I mentioned earlier, is it's going to help ensure that the rib is completely cooked by the time by the time the pineapple and bacon are done cooking, as well as just kind of gives you that peace of mind. I'm going to go ahead and add the pineapple juice that I saved while I was kind of pulling out the core and stuff. It's just going to give it a little more flavor, as well as keep things nice and moist in there. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a bacon weave here. Now you don't have to create a weave, that's just kind of a presentation. I think it looks kind of cool. But if you want to, you can just go ahead and wrap the bacon all the way around the outside of it. You may want to use a toothpick or two just to kind of keep that bacon onto the pineapple. So I've got the base layer here of my weave set up here, and if you've never done this before, it's kind of cool. It gives a nice little presentation. So what we're going to do here, so I've got 6 pieces of bacon here, and what I did is I went ahead and I stretched it out a little bit. One of the things with bacon is if you're gentle enough, you can go ahead and stretch it out to extend the length there. And what we want to do is be able to make sure we can get around the full circumference of the pineapple. And then as for the height on how wide you go here, just kind of guess here. What I did is I just took my knife here, kind of looked like it was about the size of up to the handle there. And then I just go ahead and set that down here on my bacon. I'm just kind of get an idea of how tall that is. And I want to go a little bit over that height just because it's going to shrink a little bit while it cooks. So that's kind of how I got the base down. So now to begin the weave here, what we're going to do is we're going to go every other piece of strip here, we're going to go ahead and fold back, a couple inches there. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow for that weave formation to happen. Then we're going to go ahead and grab another piece of bacon here, and we're just going to go ahead and lie it right in between there. Then you're going to go ahead and fold that back. So since we fold this one back, then this next one here, we're going to grab this and we're going to pull it all the way back. Go ahead and grab yourself another slice of bacon. And we're going to bring this one back. So as you can kind of see already here, how we've got the weave starting here. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and repeat that process all the way across until we get to the end. And yeah, we'll have a nice weave as the finished product there. So the next step, now that we have our weave done, is I'm gonna go ahead and add some rub to this. So now that we got the bacon on the outside, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the top that we removed earlier. Go ahead and set that on top. And then go ahead and grab some long toothpicks here, and you can go ahead and secure those appropriately. All we're trying to do is just trying to keep the top on. Then once you've got that on there, you can go ahead and snap these off or leave them on, whatever you prefer. Now that we got this all prepared, let's talk about how we're gonna cook this. So I'm gonna throw this out here on my smoker. You can use a smoker or a grill, whatever you prefer. And I'm gonna have a pit temperature around 275 to 300 degrees. Reason being is we got bacon here, and so if you're too low, it has a hard time kind of crisping up. So you wanna get a little bit higher temperature to help crisp that up, because otherwise it gets a little bit chewy. I'm gonna go ahead and use a few apple chunks here for my wood for the smoking. You can go ahead and use whatever wood you like. I prefer to have a nice apple or nice fruit wood here just to kind of complement the pineapple taste. Now I'm not gonna cook this for any particular time since I know that the meat inside is gonna be safe to eat here very quickly. What I'm really looking for here is whenever the bacon gets done. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and take it out to the grill. We're back inside now. It's been 2 hours now since this was done, and things are looking pretty good here. One unfortunate thing is that my bacon weave did not hold up very well. It looks like it kind of shrunk up over the cook, and yeah, it just didn't hold up very well there, unfortunately, but not a problem. I'm sure it still tastes fantastic. So let's go ahead and remove these toothpicks as well as the top. I wish you guys could really smell this. It's got that very strong pineapple smell, as well as you can definitely smell that pork there. So let's go ahead and cut this up. Just gonna go ahead and lie it on its side. And go ahead and give yourself a little sampling. Yeah, that's terrific. That's just got some great flavor there. That combination of that pineapple, pork, and bacon, and that's hard to beat there. The pineapple gives it that nice sweet flavor. Got the bacon for the salty, and the pork it all goes together very well. If you're a fan of pineapple, I would definitely recommend this recipe. I think you're really gonna like it. I'm gonna have to play around with the bacon a little bit there and see if the weave is the best bet, or if I should have just wrapped it all the way around the outside there. And may have helped if I would have had a little bit thicker bacon. I probably could have stretched it a little bit further. But overall though, I don't have very many complaints with this. So, hey guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me here today. I really like this cook here. I hope that you give it a shot and you'll let me know how it goes below in the comments. I hope that you guys have a terrific rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.